Hello everyone, it's NotaNoobPat, and welcome to Perk Review. Today we're taking a look at the level 40 David King perk, No Mither. With No Mither, you will be affected by the broken status effect for the entire trial. This means you cannot heal and you will be permanently in the injured state. What do you receive in return? You do not leave pools of blood, your grunts of pain are reduced by 50%, and you will be able to recover yourself out of the dying state. The video demonstration will help you understand how this perk works. Let's go over the pros and cons. The pro is obviously that you get to pick yourself up out of the dying state, but we will discuss that more in a moment. The other pro is that this perk should help you take aggro if you want it. Killers will know they only have to hit you once to down you, so they should chase you. This perk is commonly paired with Object of Obsession to guarantee that the killer chases the perk user. The con is that this perk is somewhat counterintuitive. If the killer is smart, they won't slug you so you can never pick yourself up out of the dying state. This means you will only get the benefit of the lack of blood pools and the reduced grunts of pain. The other con is that you can practically replicate this perk with two other good perks. You can use Iron Will to get rid of grunts of pain entirely, and use Unbreakable to pick yourself up out of the dying state. And those are actually two top tier perks and work far more often than No Mither. With that being said, let's get into our video demonstration. Here you can see that I have No Mither, and therefore I am permanently injured because of the broken status effect. Now, everyone in the game will be able to see this from the start, as you will be listed as injured and broken. Furthermore, you yourself will have the broken status effect that is indicated to you by this icon. Now, I will recover myself out of the dying state with No Mither. I want you to get a sense of how long this will take. While Unbreakable allows a person to recover faster, No Mither has no such bonus, so the killer will have to slug for quite a long time before you can heal yourself up out of the dying state, which is what happens here as you can see. Then, under normal circumstances, when a survivor is injured, you can see that they are leaving pools of blood. The killer could hypothetically see these blood pools leading up to a locker or something of that nature to track you. However, in this case, when the survivor is using this perk, they will not be leaving pools of blood. Now, I want to compare grunts. With No Mither, grunts of pain are reduced by 50%. First, there will be normal grunts, then there will be No Mither grunts. Now we will be getting into our video examples with No Mither. I had to play so many games with this terrible perk for a few good examples, so I hope you guys can reward me with a like on this video and sub if you haven't already. There's a lot to take in here at the start. First, I'm doing my best to make things happen this match. I'm repairing a generator and I'm going to put myself at risk to go pick up my teammate from the dying state. It's super easy to be passive when using this perk. Normally, I'd go pick up a teammate without fear, but since I can't take an additional hit due to being broken from No Mither, any small task besides repairing a generator alone in a corner is a bit nerve-wracking, as you are at a high risk of going down quickly and being hooked. Then you can see that I'm putting in work on a generator with a teammate, but unfortunately, one of our teammates is about to be hooked in the basement. Normally, I could unhook in the basement without fear and just take a hit for my teammate while running up the stairs. Again, this is not possible with the broken status effect from this perk. I'll have to use my sprint burst as soon as I get the unhook, and I'll try to get out as quickly as possible since I don't want to be caught. But what happens? I'm still in trouble. The clown comes back and there just isn't much I can do. He's stuck super close to the basement and I'm going to eventually be downed. Without an exhaustion perk, this chase was never going to be longer than 10 to 15 seconds unless I had a pallet, and I go down without much of a fight. The clown immediately picks me up, so I can't pick myself up with No Mither, and that was a super easy hook for the killer. Most of the time when you use this perk, you're just making the game easy for the killer. However, I'm unhooked a little later, and I'm doing my best to try to stay active and help my team win. I go get the unhook of my teammate and heal him to full health while the clown downs another one of my teammates and walks them to a hook. So now let's talk about this situation. There are 2 generators left, the hatch is visible, 2 of my teammates are already dead, and one of them is on the ground in the dying state. In this situation with no Mither, it's probably smarter to leave my teammate down to bleed out while I search for the hatch, but since I'm feeling heroic and a bit stupid, I go pick up my teammate out of the dying state while the clown is creeping around in my area. As soon as I pick my teammate up out of the dying state, the chase music begins. I've fallen into a trap, and the clown again comes directly for me since he knows I burned my sprint burst and there's not much I can do with this perk. For the second time, the clown immediately hooks me without slugging. However, I will give my teammate props and say that he was nice back to me and decided to get me off the hook instead of letting me die there and grabbing the hatch for himself. Which, by the way, neither of us have found yet, and the killer likely knows where it's at. I'm doing my best to repair this generator, but Spine Chill goes off and the clown eventually finds me. There's nothing I can do at this point and the clown easily downs me. However, the clown brain farts. He wants to go for the 4K and slug me to go get my teammate and finish off the game. However, no Mither is finally going to convert. I slowly recover using this perk, and I'm able to pick myself up out of the dying state while the clown is preoccupied trying to kill my teammate. The clown did eventually pick off my teammate and put him on his final hook. Now, I'm frantically searching for the hatch, and I will let you listen to the game audio to hear what happened.
Wow. Lucky.
As you heard, I discovered the hatch right before the killer could, and I was able to escape while being a productive player with no Mither. Fortunately, the picking myself up out of the dying state actually converted this game. Now, if I ended my review here, you guys are thinking no Mither just made a game-winning play, and it might be a decent perk. But oh no, that's not going to happen. In a new game, on the same map, I'm going to show you the true no Mither experience. The trapper is coming in my direction, I pop out of a window, but unfortunately, I get stuck in a trap. I'm going to use my sprint burst to get as far away as possible after I untrap myself, and I'm going to make it to a pallet. I pallet stun the killer, and then I blind them with my purple flashlight. The chase is going to continue. This time, I get a bit cheeky by throwing down the second pallet and I get yet another flashlight blind. I'm trying to take aggro and give my teammates as much time as possible to get generators done, since I assume that's probably what they're going to do. But what happens? I round the corner, go upstairs in the cabin, and as you can see, my random solo queue teammate is teabagging on the table, doing nothing of substance. I've just run the killer around for at least a minute, and my teammate has been doing nothing. Now, that was bad, but this is going to get even worse. One of my teammates is hit down into the dying state, and another is on the hook. Now, the survivor closest to the hook is a moron, and they're not going to go for the save. It is my fault that I'm injured and using no Mither, but you'd assume that the healthy survivor who is closer to the hook should be the one going for the save. But that's not what happens. Again, since I'm a hero, I'm going to go get the unhook, and I do this, and as this happens, the person who was previously healthy is put into the dying state. This means I'm going to again have to put myself into danger and run and go get the other unhook. Still, it's going to get even worse. Even though this teammate is using Kindred, none of my teammates are even interested in unhooking them. Normally, I could take a hit as I would be healthy then try to run away, but with no Mither, I go directly into the dying state. Again, I wasn't trying to farm here. You could see that none of my teammates were going for unhooks or even coming remotely close. While the trapper initially slugs, he realizes that I have no Mither again and comes back to hook me. Now, my teammate runs towards me on the generator I'm working on, and unfortunately, I run into a trap. No harm, no foul here, annoying, but it happens. However, no Mither again fails. The trapper is going to slug again, and I'm going to do my best to pick myself up with no Mither. I crawl over the trap to delay him from picking me up immediately, and I get so close to picking myself up as the trapper walks over his own trap. But no Mither just doesn't recover you quickly enough. He picks me up, and I go on my second hook. In this situation again, I am the last one to survive, but the trapper closes the hatch. I'm not going to be so lucky this time, and the trapper puts me into the dying state right as the game is about to end. And here is DBD matchmaking at its finest. 2 rank 16s, a purple rank with Left Behind and Self-Care, and I am a rank 4 with the most points. I was never going to survive this game with no Mither. Now, let's go into our final example, but this one is going to be from the killer's perspective. This is going to be the funniest possible outcome for this perk. As I mentioned before, you know right from the start if someone is utilizing this perk or not. As soon as the game loads up, I look and see that one of the survivors is already broken, so I know the survivor has no Mither. So why is this so funny? Well, I'm Oni. I rely on survivors being injured for blood orbs. Then, look at my perks. I have Blood Echo, which exhausts injured survivors, and I have Thanatophobia. meaning that the team has a permanent negative bonus since the survivor can't heal up to negate this perk. So, I exhaust the survivor from my blood echo and then I find them. They can't dead hard or sprint burst now and they are easily downed. The other funny part is that this Claudette with no Mither searched the chest and they got a medkit that they can't even use on themselves. I do start to slug, but then I remember, I can't do that because they can pick themselves up with this perk, so instead I just go and get the easy hook. Then the Claudette is sitting on this pallet and I down them again. Again, I only slug momentarily because I know they can pick themselves up, and the hook is literally 3 feet away, so I return to them and hook the Claudette. Smart killers are not going to slug when you use this perk. To finish things off, you can see that this Claudette is dropping tons of blood orbs and they are dead in the water here. I down her again when maybe I shouldn't have, but go hit boxes and I easily hook her. Hopefully you see why you shouldn't use this perk. You've seen enough, let's give this perk a grade. We're keeping this one short and sweet, or should I say short and sour. No Mither is a 1 out of 10. Unless you're pairing this perk with Object to troll the killer or to gain aggro, there is really no reason to use this perk. If you don't want to grunt, use Iron Will. If you want to pick yourself up from the dying state, use Soul Guard or Unbreakable. This perk is terrible and should only be used as a meme, but even so, this is probably the worst meme perk in the game. Be sure to let me know what you think of this perk in the comments down below. Also, sorry if I pronounced Mither wrong, there's no consensus way to say it from Google, and Brits and Americans pronounce it differently, so that's my explanation. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave it a like. If you want to check out more perk review, make sure to look for the links in the description and visit my channel to subscribe. I also stream twice a week on Twitch if you want to stop by. Take it easy.